Hello, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. Can you hear me okay? Is the microphone working all right? Let's see who we have here. We have Aman here, which I already read his question and answered. And Olga, dear, is here. Good to see you, dear, or at least see you writing. And yes, I received the beautiful thumbnails and will upload them as soon as possible. Well, for whoever is in the time zone that it's already 2022, Happy New Year to you all. I wish you all the best health and success and happiness in the new year and years to come. And hopefully, we will put behind us the shitty years that we've been having since this goddamn bullshit started around the world by the conspiracy of the governments in trying to bamboozle us into doing things that we don't want to do. So, with that hope and freedom of choice and movement and our lifestyles and being able to protect and be in control of our bodies to do what we want with it and not what we're forced to do with it, we start the new year. And I'm sure for some of you, the new year has already started. So let's go and see who we have here. We have Avatar. So Happy New Year. I guess in India it's already New Year. Dan Ilot says hi again. Need this right now. Happy New Year. Hello, Dan. You guys don't forget to let me know where you're tuning in from, how old you are, what your gender is, and where you're tuning in from. Takashi says you were hearing clear. Okay, good. Microphone is off. Takeshi says microphone is off. Can you guys not hear me? Can someone make a comment? So we can. So what is it, Takeshi, that you say the microphone is off? All right. Olga says we can hear you well. Okay. Dosti says, hello, Meran. Male 21 Netherlands says, I'm here to wish you a healthy and lovely 2022. Have a nice one. Okay. Thank you very much. Well, in Netherlands, still not, is it? It's only 10 o'clock there, isn't it? Or 11. In most of Europe and North America, it's not a new year yet, but in the Middle East and Russia and so on, it's already 2022. And we have Gatto says, here is 11 p.m. Male, Italy, 35. Hello, Gatto. Good to see you. I guess the French would be bonne année. What do you say in Italian? Feliz Navidad is not is Spanish, I believe, yeah? So what do you say, bon what in Italian? I don't seem to recall it. We have a sunny day here. while snow is everywhere. But the roads are clear. 11 p.m. in Italy, so it's what, 9 hours ahead in Italy. Bon anno. Bon anno, Happy New Year. So it's similar to French, bonne année, bon anno, nouveau. Yeah, okay, great. So, bon anno, bon anno, bon anno. I hope I'm not butchering the accent. So I'm going to put a little music for you to just have a sip of my tea and we see more people here.
The last word was just total bullshit. I just made it up. But the idea of being here just for a moment, just gonna forget every shit. And it's just good. Are you taping me?
That was the day I was in the store. They had a little music room with all the guitars, and I just took one and started playing, and my son was recording me, and I didn't know. So it was interesting few moments. Well, it looks like most people are busy with New Year. They're not joining us. I guess they're expecting New Year. And of course, I'm only here for the ones who don't have a plan to go out, which most places in the world, I guess, some places at least right here, like no parties are allowed here. So the supreme bullshitters here have decided that no gatherings, and while I'm sure they have their own parties going. The story continues. So it's funny that one finds one to be held hostage in his own country by its own government. And this is what's happening in most of the world. The governments have created this conspiracy, and they're not listening to the scientists, the real scientists, not the ones that work for them. So we are kind of in a dilemma that we never expected, that the governments that we elected, at least some, would turn and use the law to break the law, coming up with all kinds of new laws and passing them in order to facilitate breaking the law as it has been set in our Constitution to protect us, protect our freedom, protect our way of life. And this is happening everywhere in the world. And somehow, something got to give. Otherwise, all what we have done for the thousands of years to bring about this civility and this democracy systems of living and lifestyle and values, it all goes to hell if we allow such things to succeed, to put us in categories and same nonsense as World War II reoccur. Have we not learned? Did we not fight and go to defeat the tyrant in World War II and bring about democracy and freedom to the world? And now the world, the very ones who actually took steps to bring freedom to the world, are causing these havoc and trying to put us in a cage and turn us into villains and tell us what to do, what to think, what to not to do, and where to go, what not to go. And we're not chickens. So let's don't be one. We have column says, "Hi Meran, 26 years old, from England. Since I joined your channel, you helped me so much. Thoughts are just thoughts, and you always help me out. Delighted to hear that. Hope that you will have a wonderful year and keep educating yourself, learning about your own brain and organs and facilities and faculties, and then be able to help your own organs and psyche to come to health whenever you find them out of line and in the glitch of negativity or malfunction." Well, we have whopping 6 people here. We'll see how many will join us eventually, but I bet you it won't be that much because I guess it's New Year in most of the places, and they probably prefer to be with their families than being here. But nevertheless, we're here as well, only maybe for an hour. And then I guess we each go about our business, our day. It's a Saturday here, isn't it? Yeah, it's Saturday. All right. Don't all of you ask questions at the same time. One at a one at a time. What is it? You guys fell asleep? Six, seven, 8. Actually, there are 9 comments here, but we have only 5 people here. If you guys are waiting for some kind of a program, show, or entertainment, that's not that kind of channel. I'm here to discuss and explore and answer your questions. If you don't have any, there wouldn't be anything more coming as far as entertainment is concerned. Just saying, so you know. You know, many of you have gone through separation and breakups and so on, and often you ask, why is she this, why did she do this, or depending on your relationship, you consider excuse me, consider why things turn out the way it did, why the person you're with is not the same as before, and you wonder. And most often, one of the many reasons that we've discussed in many of the videos, we have over 3,000 videos on this channel, about at least 2,500 of it is on relationships and breakups and so on, and things to do with the psyche and thoughts and consciousness, fear, desire, ego, mechanical process, order. And then we have hundreds on, like 500 at least or something, or close to it, about OCD and HOCD and so on. So we have discussed about this, the many reasons that why breakups happen. But one of the reasons that one wants to focus on is that you're wondering what happened to her or what happened to him, why your partner has changed or this and that. Have you ever wondered that you actually never really had a direct relationship with your partner, and you just had a relationship with two different things that pretty much had nothing to do with your partner? And that one was the image you had created out of her in your mind. I just talk about one kind of relationship, so you just switch it around and make it work for you. So you had created an image of her in your mind about her, and then you have an image of you in your mind about yourself. And these two images have been interacting. And she has created an image of you in her mind, and she has an image of herself in her own mind. And these images, your image and her image in your mind, have been interacting. And you never really knew each other. So therefore, when you are breaking up, you're surprised that why is she like this and she never was like this, because you probably never knew her. You knew the image you had created of her. And that image was created based on your need. You had a relationship based on your need. And since you want to fulfill your need, desire for pleasure, desire for companionship, desire for feeling psychologically secure, desire to build a family, desire, all these things that you've been conditioning your consciousness, and you desire to bring them to fruition and accomplish them, was your motivation and the prism that you were seeing her through it. In other words, you were having a relationship with your needs, and therefore your needs being so important to you, the relationship became very important. She became very important. But in fact, you really didn't know the characteristics of her specialities or shortcomings. It was all about your needs, and your needs were so sacred and important to you that you couldn't see anything beyond the fact that you could fulfill your needs through a relationship with this woman or whatever your relationship is. So now that things are not working out, you wonder, well, she's always been the way she's been. You just never saw her in the actuality of her. You saw her through the prism of your needs. So that gave her the echelon of importance, because your needs are important to you, most important. And you also interacted with her in relation to you through the image you had created of her in your mind, and the image that you had of yourself in your mind, and the image that you would like to society to see you and her together in that light. So you never really had a direct connection with her qualities, shortcomings, who she was, her persona. It was all about seeing her through your needs, and that gave her that importance, and that gave her that devastation when she didn't want to be with you anymore, or somehow you guys decided not to be together anymore. And then you looked at the whole situation as a way that you're losing fulfillment of your needs, not that you're separating from an entity that your bonding on conscious level is not happening, or level of compatibility is not good enough to keep it together. You were thinking that I'm going to lose the needs that I wanted to fulfill. I'm going to lose the image that I wanted to society to look at me. I'm losing the image that I had created of her in my own mind. And so all of that becomes very devastating to you, because you think they are the reality of her and the reality of the relationship and the person that you knew, which, on the contrary, you knew nothing about her. You loved what she was doing for you, not necessarily her, because her persona was not even clear to you due to the things that we just talked about. But you enjoyed through that relationship what you were fulfilling, the desires and so on and so forth. So if you think of that way, then you will not be so devastated, because you actually broke up with someone that you didn't even know pretty much in her actuality, and so on. So hope that would be something for you to think about, to make it easier for yourself to move on and find happiness, and this time select better and see it through no prism, but clarity of who each one of you are and how your interactions with each other is or should be. All right. Dan Arlott says, so let me ask you, I'm 47, live in London, and I was dating someone for nearly exactly a year. She's 51. So you went for an older woman, didn't you? And I really fell for her. Okay. She was incredibly sexy, bubbly, and fun. And I fell for her massively. But she's toxic and can't help hurting me and breaking up for no reason. She deliberately sabotaged and ruined everything we ever planned. The longest we were together was 6 weeks over the course of a year. I know she's toxic. It's just because we had so much fun when she could hold it too. It's like saying I have a container that holds 5 gallons of elixir of life, or water, pure water in a desert. But there's one problem. There's a hole in it. Who cares how much it holds? The hole doesn't allow it to stay in there, whatever it is that you think it holds. It's 5 gallon capacity, but it's got a hole in it. It's going to hold nothing. That doesn't mean it has a capacity. It means a bag with a hole, which actually holds none of those elixirs that you're trying to cherish and savor. So see it for what it is. For a whole year, you had 6 weeks of relationship. You say it was a whole lot of fun. How could it be a whole lot of fun when you only had 6 weeks of it? Why? Because you're only focusing on the fun part and you're disregarding all the pain that went through it. It's like saying, oh, I found gold. Oh, really? How much? Oh, 1 ounce. Oh, really? Great. How long did it take you? Well, 5 years. Oh, really? How much of mountain? Oh, I moved the whole mountain in a big, huge part of it, and I lost my fingers. And so all that fucking pain to get that 1 ounce of gold with that length of time is not a equitable trade. It's not a good trade-off. It's waste of time, waste of money, waste of energy, waste of health. Hmm? Obviously, she knows that she cannot hold that what you like about her as her nature. It's a theater. She can hold the note for maybe 2 seconds. But when she holds that note for 2 seconds, everybody says, wow, she's an amazing singer. No, she can only hold it for 2 seconds, and she knows it. That's why she doesn't want it to go any further than 2 seconds. And he just comes up with some kind of excuse, breaks the microphone, says, oh, there was a light there was a noise there, and I'm not going to continue. It's not because she doesn't want to continue, because she can't continue. She can only hold the note for 2 seconds, or two, whatever. So she knows that she can be fun, but she's not balanced and she's not committed. She's not capable of holding that balance as a default for most of the time. And she's not finding it in herself to be disciplined and ready for a relationship that would be positive. She needs the attention, she needs the drama, she needs all the things that is her shortcomings, and you think it's something you have to do to clear it out for her. It's not your job. You put your best foot forward, and she's having a little crisis in her mind, probably, and you're supposed to be solving that crisis for her. You can't. She has to solve it. She's 51 years old, and she's not confident about her life, and she still wants to be 25, and she's not meeting that, and she's taking it, on you by all these temper tantrum to get more attention and have excuses why she's not at her best foot forward. And she's looking for that excuse. So she won't have to actually be at her best behavior, because she can't. She hasn't sorted out in her brain how old she is and what stage of life she is at. And therefore, she wants to have that image of she's amazing, but you can't handle her, or there's something wrong with you. Why? Because she can't deal with the fact that there's something wrong with her at this age, and she's not able to sort it out. So puts it on your head, thinking that, oh, she's all, right. Why? Because you have a need for her, and for that, fulfilling that need, you're willing to put up with everything. And in here, you're beginning to think that it's your fault that things are not going well. She's toxic. So stop treating as if your desire for pleasure is everything in life. There's no tranquility with her. Let her go. Let her go to learn. Maybe she'll find something she's looking for. Maybe she'll find someone who's more vicious and stupid than her, and they will have fights all the time, and she will simmer down to see that there is a bigger fight out there if she wants to continue that kind of energy in the relationships. And if she figures it out, she'll come back. If she doesn't, let her go. I think you should let her go, because you've already tried for a year, and 6 weeks out of a year, it's like saying I have a corporation that manufactures and sells, but we only have 6 weeks of the year that we make money. The rest of it is just in the red. What good is that? Say bye-bye and go away. Explore something else. Other opportunities. Bad birth control says, should I confront my ex about suddenly trying to destroy my reputation after 6 months? She may attempt, but she has to back it up with facts. And if she can't, then she's going to lose face automatically. Why do you have to spend your energy as if she's what? She's the roots of your credibility. How can she ruin it? She can say nonsense, but when it comes to proving it, she can't. So I think you just move on and disconnect yourself with her as much as you possibly can. Nobody even remembers the garbage she says after a few months. Just if the chance comes up, You can say to whoever comments about it, says, no, it's not true. It's her way of trying to um, um, clear her conscience for her behavior. That's it. Don't don't further into it. Just do your life, do your things. Gatto says he was in. I was in love with a girl in December last year, but she did not like me. I told this to my best she friend, to my best she friend, to my best friend. She stopped talking with me, and I did not understand why. Who cares? You're trying to understand why someone doesn't like you or does like you. Well, who cares? She doesn't like you. That's on her. You know who you are and how you behave. And if you feel that's balanced and that's okay, then it doesn't matter who thinks of you. You can't be like a monkey or yo-yo to go up and down depending on who wants you up, who wants you down. Do your thing. Whoever likes you, doesn't. Just be decent, a good man. That's all. OCD his. I don't know what OCD his H is. It says, hi, Meran, 27 Bosnia. First of all, thank you for helping us with HOCD. I'm near recovery, just a little bit of false attraction. That's all. Yeah. Well, it's not about near recovery. OCD, it's a OCD and substance of OCD, including HOCD. It's a mental issue that you need to educate yourself and learn how the psyche works and how the psyche malfunctions and how you can help it and what's going on in there and separate the brain from you and understand that's a brain glitch, and you got to help the brain to rewire itself and retrain to behave properly, as there is a glitch in the amygdala that is constantly on the alert and sends fictitious danger signals, and then prefrontal cortex tries to match up some kind of a uh, made up scenario to match the signal that was sent, and then due to malfunction in the striatum, basal ganglia, where caudate nucleus is there, which is designed to automatically shut down intrusive thoughts. Well, that's not doing its job. So when it's not doing its job, and the thought that appears out of nowhere, uh, not with your responsibility, it's a brain's thought, hovers when it's not shut down automatically as it's designed to be. So caudate nucleus is not doing its job, amygdala is overactive, and prefrontal cortex is trying to match all these the signals that is coming in. So it just creates a havoc. So if you know these things, then you understand, okay, there's a malfunction. I don't have to pay attention, try to, interpret it or see what it means and all that, because it's all bullshit. I just have to understand the signaling system is fucked up. And then I educate myself and learn how to help my brain to rewire itself through neuroplasticity, the way I treat these thoughts as they show up, and allow thoughts to be there instead of investigating them and trying to interpreting them and then making something out of it that is not even there. So in that way, by through that education, you rewire the malfunctioning brain, and then you learn that this is part of the structure of this brain, which is still work in progress, because we didn't have this brain 40,000 years ago. Until 40,000 years ago, we had stem brain, we had reptilian brain. Everything was on instinct. There was no ability to think or speak. And thinking, thoughts are the roots of all problems. Because if you can see, animals don't have these problems. Why? Because the only difference between them, and they're a biological entity as well, the only difference between them and us is that we can speak and think. Theirs is all an instinct. When we were also like animals, stem brain, reptilian brain, and everything was an instinct, we would be running, hunting, sleeping, having sex, and nothing was of, you know, ajar. Everything was synchronized. Why? Because there was no interpretation, there was no thinking, no speaking, no words having meanings, and no conclusions were looking, were being searched. It was just observing life and doing what we needed to do based on the instincts that was telling us what to do. That was it. But 40,000 years ago, we were blessed with the development of this brain, which is pretty fucked up, but it's got lots of good things about it when it's working properly. It helps us to solve things, figure out things, learn things, accomplish things, design things, produce things, and many other things, plan things. But it also malfunctions, and we don't understand that it malfunctions like any other electrical system. It's all a bunch of neurons there, but there's no actuality in there. There's all ideas and suggestions and pictures and images, and then we are not supposed to constantly worry about what it's putting out there. It's a brain doing it, not you. It's an organ. It's not you, because there was a you before this brain added to it. So what it produces is not you, because the you was there a million years ago until 40,000 years ago. The you lived without this brain. This brain was added to it. So what it does now, it's not you. There's a separation between you and the brain. And if you understand this, then you understand that thought is the roots of all problems. There's nothing wrong with you. Anyhow, I think I lost the train of my thoughts. So when you understand all these, it'll help you to know a little bit more about yourself, become the mechanic of your own machine, and you'll see that all these have to be understood, that the brain is not perfect. It's not infallible. It also fucks up like any other organ. Liver, kidney. You get a cold, you have a diarrhea in the intestine. All malfunctions. Brain has its own malfunctions. When you understand these, then you'll kind of settle down and understand this is part of this brain. And sometimes this sort of challenges could come up, and you're not supposed to think the brain is you. So what it says is you. The changes being made in you because the brain says so. No, brain is an organ. Brain is not you. You're not the brain. And it's discovered and is discussed and scientifically proven in many different research, and including Brain Locks, the book of Brain Lock with Dr. Schwartz, and of course many other examples. In my selection of videos under the playlist Intrusive OCD, HOCD short videos, that particular playlist is not focusing on interpreting any thoughts. It's focusing on showing you the separation between brain and you. And if you watch it, you will find many interesting logical discussions that I have proven. It's been proven scientifically and philosophically from Aristotle time that there are aspects of you and the mind that the brain cannot even reach. So you're not the brain and brain is not you. And that has been discussed in these videos, many of them. If you look at them, you will find them very helpful. And the one video that I'm going to put up here for you to watch, which is along the line of what I just described about you're not the brain and brain is not you, is this video that I highly recommend you take a look at. It's a bit long, but it packs lots of information. It's based on the research and the report of Dr. Egnar on the experiments that the neurosurgeons, famous neurosurgeons such as Dr. Speary, Dr. Penfield, Dr. Owen, Dr. Libet have done. And these are Nobel Prize echelon of studies. And you will learn and see that how not just 1,000 years ago when Aristotle was talking about dualism versus materialism, now even the modern science have proven that you're not the brain and brain is not you. All right, hope you'll enjoy that video. Let's go to Dan says, is there any how I can save this so I can keep in my mind what you're saying? Yeah, this will be uploaded once we're done. Automatically will be uploaded, and so you will have it. And I will cut that piece out that I just mentioned in one video, and I will load it eventually when I come to it. So okay. All right. And we have, let me just widen the screen here. But Bat Birth Control says, thank you. You're welcome. Gatto says, many months later, my best friend told me she was in love with me at the time. I told her we could be boyfriend and girlfriend now. But she got very mad and she stopped talking with me again. I don't understand. Anyhow, guys, some of the things I can handle here, deal with it if it's short or certain discussion. If you guys need to talk to me for detailed consultation, you can always reach me at mindthatseekstruth.com. Mindthatseekstruth.com. And make an appointment for Skype consultation. And if you make 1 hour appointment for a new client, I will add another hour. We'll have 2 hours at that very session to explore what's concerning you one-on-one on Skype. I put the link here. Mindthatseekstruth.com. And you can take a look at the content of, table of content of my books. I highly recommend Me, My Psyche, and I. It's very nominal. I've turned it into ebooks, so it won't cost you much, but it's very important for you to have that book. Refer to it, look at it. There are lots of good stuff in there. 360 pages of lots of information. And you also can then take a look at my the scheduling for the consultation and make an appointment, and we'll explore what's concerning you one-on-one on Skype. Kemshi Redaman says, hello, Mehran Sensei. Oh, okay. What do you know about my Aikido background? Call me Sensei here. Says, to how extent does OCD affect our physical health? Does it lead to physical symptoms similar to those of chronic disease? Arigato. Well, tell me a little bit about yourself. How the hell do you know my martial art background, that you're referring to it? And let me know your age, gender, and where you're tuning in from. Kimshe. And the physical symptoms that you could see from OCD is, anxiety and fear and, constantly doing things that as a compulsion to the obsession, and constantly creating things that don't exist just because you believed. When fear turns into belief, that's the problem. And there are few things responsible for believing a thought, like when you believe in a religion, religiosity, or anything of that sort. There's a bunch of neurotransmitters, dopamine, serotonin involved. A real estate area of the neurons are involved. And then there's a gene called VMAT2, I think it's called VMAT2, if I'm not mistaken, that is responsible to turning a thought into belief. And religiosity is also affected by that. So when your thought becomes a belief, then you won't question it anymore. And when you don't question it anymore, it's going to affect your psyche, affect your doing anything, because now you have turned something that perhaps has no basis into a belief. And when it becomes a belief, you don't care if it's legitimate or not. Somehow you believe it. You know, we believe in many things without any evidence, such as you believe in that you got to do OCD or HOCD and all these things that comes to your mind. You believe them for no reason, just because out of fear. When fear affects you to the point that you end up believing something, and in order to stop the fear that becomes so severe, you begin to think maybe I should accept the fear as fact, what it suggests, so I won't be fearful of the fear. So for the purpose of getting rid of the fear, you start believing the fear in order to stop the fear. You're still not in agreement with what the fear, what the topic or the content has been there to create the fear. But because the fear becomes unbearable, you begin to accept the bullshit so the fear will stop. And that is another shortcoming, another negative thing about not going through education and learning what the hell it is that you're paying attention to, and that you should not be believing without any scientific evidence. And HOCD and OCD is constantly trying to teach you, I mean, the science of it, that these things are mental issues. But it becomes so devastating and fearful because you have so much value for your identity and what it is that you don't want it to be. And the suggestion by the brain is that you are what you don't want to be, which is a malfunction of the brain, but you believe it. Once you believe it, you become fearful of it. When you become so fearful of it that it stops your daily work and daily life, then you start saying, maybe I should believe it so the fear will leave me alone. And that's another problem. So education is everything. There's so much studies in psychology today that these things have been resolved. If you have a very good expert psychologist that is expert in OCD, not every psychologist knows about how to deal with OCD. So don't just go to any psychologist because they've got a psychology, I don't know, degree. They have to have specialization area, and OCD and HOCD, it's a specialization area. If they're not specialized in that field, they don't know what the hell they're talking about. So you find the right psychologist, psychotherapist who's specializing in OCD and OCD subsets, then consult with them and they'll educate you, and then you'll be able to deal with this thing rather than accepting something out of fear. Fear is very powerful. Look at the world. They fear the people up to their necks, and they're getting them stuff in there because they're fearful. Otherwise, many scientific communities are talking the downfalls and the mistake that this thing is carrying, but fear doesn't let many ignorant people to actually pay attention to it. Now, if you investigate and educate yourself and decide to do something, that's fine. But you're doing it out of fear, well, then you're not doing yourself a service. And fear can be induced from outside entities and forces and from your own brain. Either way, it's a dangerous thing to believe something because of fear. If it has its own merit, you investigate it. But if it doesn't, you don't. You don't believe it because the fear is there. You resist anybody who's trying to make you do something because you understand that's not within your values. That's not something you want to do. You're being forced and you resist. But when the brain comes up with something of the same sort, you somehow think, oh, no, I got to comply. That doesn't make sense. So protect yourself through education and then treat yourself and retrain yourself and then get over these challenges, mental challenges. All right. Jeffrey Skelton says, Happy New Year, Mehran. Hope you have a great 2022. From Jeff Mail, 34, Toronto. Hello, Jeff. Thank you very much for that. And the same to you and yours. May you have a wonderful new year. May we all earthlings have a year free from fears, domination, dictatorialship, tyranny, and hope all these governments who are involved in these criminal activities will have to answer in the court of law eventually. And I hope the authorities, such as police and military and so on, will protect the people, not the governments. Carlos Finn says, this man helped me gather my thoughts after a very bad breakup in my life. I will forever be grateful to him. Oh, which man? Oh, okay. Well, thank you, dear. I appreciate that. Delighted that the video has been helpful to you and you're happy and on your way to bigger and better things. And Happy New Year to you, too, Carlos. Okay. Well, guys, it's 53 minutes and 36 seconds. 7, 8, 9 continues. So it's time for me to say thank you very much for being here, giving me the opportunity to share a thing or two with you. I look forward for our next live stream. At this point, I don't see any more questions. And perhaps it's time. Oh, there's a question coming through. Okay. Then I'll hang around. So Kemshi says 37 male Morocco says, I've been following you since 2016. Back then, your website contained some information about you as far as I can remember. Peace and thank you for your time and effort. Thank you, Kimshi. I appreciate that. And so you've been one of the older people who enjoy the channel since 2016. That's when I started the live streams, 2016. At the time, 2016, I was asked by a site in India that it had 5 million subscribers. So every time I had a live stream, we had like thousands of people watching. But since then, I moved it to my own site or Facebook, and then we still had 500, 200, 175 people at a time. When I moved it to YouTube, it's kind of not too, we're not being seen that often. And good thing that I did make that invitation to people who were watching me on that particular first site on Facebook to come to mine, because that Facebook page was closed after a while. I guess there were some images or pictures that was copyrighted, was put by the administrators of that site. So eventually they lost their their page, and by that time I had invited people to come to my own page on Facebook. Pirlo says, Happy New Year. Our great friend, many thanks from Australia. Oh, thank you very much, and appreciate the kind words. And it's already the 1st of January there, right? It's already, what is it? What time is it here? It's 2:50, which means 2:50 and then plus 7 is 9:50 in the morning. Yeah. So Happy New Year to all of you in Australia, in Philippines, in Hong Kong, in Japan, in Sweden, in Netherlands, in Germany, in England, in Russia, in Italy, in France, in everywhere else that we could reach, India, Iran, United States, Canada. I wish you all a wonderful year in 2022. Wish you health and happiness, safety and freedom. Not just freedom of thoughts, freedom of movement, freedom of choice, and freedom of having sovereignty on your own body, and nobody to make you administer anything that you don't want it to be. Love you all, and thank you very much for being here. And look forward to our next live stream, which it wouldn't be too long. Yes, Pirlo, also to Armenia, to Turkey, to Iran, to UAE, to all other places in the world that have had the chance to know about our site. Okay, love you all, and see you soon. Hopefully, maybe later on tonight, I'm not sure, or maybe tomorrow. I'll talk to you soon. Subscribe on my channel, visit my channel, and go through the videos that you might be interested in. Mind@seekstruth.com is making it one step away to talk to me one-on-one on Skype and discuss what's concerning you. I'll talk to you soon.
Well, we too, like the iceberg, have 1,000 times bigger powers that is not visible, and we must. Why? Is it something we're rambling on and I expect you to accept it? Or is there actually another power within us? Would you come and help me out? Okay. What I want you to do is put your hands underneath my arms and just lift me up. There we go. Okay, now, that's my physical part, right? Same thing, again, with that. Just want to see if there's any difference. Go ahead. Now, go ahead. Now, this, go ahead, when you're ready.
Go ahead.
So you see, this is different than what he was doing, and I'm not really doing anything. You convinced?
Yeah.
So are you guys convinced that there is something other than, thank you. Thank you very much.